Forbidden Door has come and gone, and it was absolutely fantastic, in spite of an ocean of injuries, including some that happened in the show, in spite of a couple of kind of weird booking decisions, and in spite of a lot of people not feeling incredibly excited about this show. It ended up proving everyone wrong, as it ended up being, in my opinion, probably the best AEW show that has happened this year. You might have competition with Revolution, but I think in terms of raw enjoyability, in terms of raw fun and raw skill on display, this was pound for pound the best pay-per-view that AEW has done this year. So with that in mind, I want to go over just a couple of my favorite moments, the little things that happened that really have stuck with me ever since, and that I'm definitely going to be going back to rewatch very soon. I am GT Schwa. We are going to go over my favorite moments from Forbidden Door. So at number 5, Dax returning from his injury, or his supposed injury. As of now, I haven't seen anything about whether or not this was a real injury or a fake injury, but I guess a work or a shoot here. But fairly early in the match, he had to suddenly roll out. He was talking to the doctor, and it was very much in like the corner of the screen. They were not playing it up as an obvious part of the story, and he needed to be walked out, assumedly because his arm was injured or something like that. And the way they played this off, once again, maybe it was real. It's hard to say, but I would imagine this was probably a work. But they played it off like it was real. They were not making a big deal out of it. The cameras weren't giving it a ton of focus. And the reason why I think there might be some reality to it is that after that, the match kind of felt a little bit... The pacing was a little weird, in a way that would make sense if suddenly Dax wasn't there and he was supposed to be there. And after all of the injuries that have happened up until this point, it was just... there was extra worry in the room. There was extra concern in the room of like, oh, another injury, another thing happening. And when he came back in, you know, we see the audience's reaction before we see him walking down, but the minute that I saw the audience react, I knew, okay, our man is back. And he's just anger walking back in. His arm is taped up a little bit. Probably have to pop it back into the socket. And the pop for his return was amazing. FTR's babyface is working better than I ever would have imagined prior. Because Cash was doing great work in the ring, and you really felt for him with his partner gone. And Dax coming into the ring, very much, like both of them are fantastic, but Dax is the one of the two that has the most amount of fan hype for him getting that hot tag and getting in and doing some major damage. And the fact that they won after that they were able to get the win off of that, it took a match that was looking like it was going to be fantastic and then looked like it was in a lot of danger and brought it back up to that level of excitement and just fantastic work overall. Everyone in the match did a great job, but Dax's return specifically had me out of my seat. Number 4 was the finish of the All-Atlantic Tournament Championship, whatever you want to call that. Pac winning a belt, as far as I understand, the first belt that he has held in the company so far. I remember as we were entering the match, I was telling my friends in the room who don't keep up with AEW as much, like, hey, Pac or Malachi Black or Miro, any of them can win this, and I will be incredibly satisfied. Now, if you've seen any of these prior videos, you probably know that I am a sucker for Miro. I think he is fantastic on the mic. He is fantastic in the ring. So he was my first choice for who to put the belt on, but any of these three would have been a great choice. And I think it's awesome that Pac has been here basically since the very beginning, and he is now getting a belt and now getting the what he deserves, I guess you'd say. But also a shout out to Kurt Connors in this match, who I did not know him very well, but he very clearly was the fourth man in this match, especially considering that he was in because Ishii from New Japan was injured. And you could tell that he, in the build-up, he's a bit softer spoken, he's a bit smaller, the fans don't know him as well. So he was the fourth man here, but they were able to get him over incredibly by giving him this big hit with Miro through the table, with him suddenly get a lot of babyface fire. It was really cool to see the fans, who really didn't seem to care about him at the start, get completely completely won over by him at the very end. He still ended up eating the pin, but it was just overall a fantastic match. Pac's win specifically was so satisfying, just seeing this man finally getting his time to hold a belt and be successful. I hope they do great stuff with this belt. Not everyone is very excited for the All-Atlantic Championship. I hope that he's able to take this belt and make it a big deal. Number 3, the big reveal, the person who is going to take Bryan Danielson's place, Claudio Castagnoli. Here's the thing to keep in mind. I have not seen a lot of WWE. I've seen a lot of clips of WWE, but I haven't really watched their weekly show. So for someone like Claudio, I mainly know him through stuff on the internet, like with Up, Up, Down, Down, through a couple of clips I've seen online, and just people talking about how big of a deal he is. So when he came out, I was very excited. I was like, okay, this guy, I know him. Everyone says he's really cool. He definitely looks very athletic and like he'd be able to definitely be able to tear it up in the ring. But it wasn't this immediate pop of excitement. What got me was the opening of that match. Immediately with a big uppercut, immediately with another big move, immediately into trying to pin him, getting a 2 count. Within the first 30 seconds, he exploded into the match. Everyone in the room back at my place was losing their mind. We thought that it was just boom, over. And the rest of the match was fantastic. This match immediately told me everything I need to know about this man. He is powerful, he is hard-hitting, he is striking, he is technically gifted, and he is absolutely fantastic. Claudio for the Blackpool Combat Club makes perfect sense for me. I can't wait to learn a little bit more about who he is, about what he's doing, about his connections with other people in the Blackpool Combat Club. But for right now, his reveal was amazing. And for me, not just for the moment, but for the entire match that followed. I felt like I entirely got who this man is and why I should care about him. And that is, I think, just very awesome. Number 2, Sting's entrance. Here's the thing. With this match, this is probably the match I was least excited for, just because it felt the most thrown together, like last second. Yeah, the Bucks and Bullet Club versus Sting and Darby and guys from LIJ. Sure, let's do that. Sting's entrance, where it seemed like he was up in the rafters and then I guess he teleported onto the tunnel. I guess some people wouldn't like that. I love cheesy stuff like that. But him immediately diving off of the tunnel, I love that this 62, 63-year-old man is just become addicted to jumping off stuff now. He's just jumping off tunnels and jumping off huge entrances. And it was just an amazing, exciting start to the match. And after that happened, there was energy in the ring. Honestly, my number 2 pick might not even just be Sting's jump, but just Sting in general in this match. Him no-selling the nipple twist that happened later on, no-selling the double super kick and beating his chest and the roar and all that. Like this was. I am so happy that Sting is here. Like, I'm getting off topic here a little bit, but I love Sting so much. And I'm not someone who watched WCW. I don't have a history with Sting. So it's not even nostalgia. They've just booked him to be this amazing veteran figure, this legend who gets to be here and get all this glory and all these amazing moments. It's really awesome that they're giving Sting this big final run. So I loved everything about it. And the whole match was great as well. Now, real quick, a couple of honorable mentions, just because these are moments I really enjoyed, but they just weren't at that same caliber. The very beginning of the 4-way match for the IWGP Heavyweight Championship. A match that unfortunately seemed to trip up at the end. Adam Cole got injured, there's nothing you can really do about that. But the very beginning, when it's just the 4 of them standing there, Hangman and Cole and Jay White and Okada, and the fans are going berserk, and nothing has even happened, and you could tell in the ring they were getting hype just off that. You can see like Jay White and Okada, their eyes like with fire inside them, like we are about to burn this freaking house down. And then, of course, Jay White immediately hopped out of the ring, being a coward. But even still, that little moment of, this is why we're here. This right here is why we're doing this whole thing. And the fans got so excited. So I loved that. And also, of course, Moxley becoming the AEW Interim World Champion. I think that AEW, the final match of the night for their pay-per-views, a lot of the time don't live up to the hype that they're trying to set. Just because at this point you've been there for so many hours that you're kind of drained. But I always love it when a moment is still able to really get me. And Moxley getting the win over Tanahashi, a result that I don't want to say was guaranteed, because I could definitely see maybe Tanahashi carrying it, but it was the probable answer. It was still a really awesome moment seeing Moxley with the belt, seeing him once again with this championship, and now being able to be a champ in front of the fans, being able to get that run in front of the fans, because he was the man who kept the company going when nobody could be in the building. So that was really awesome as well. So my number one moment of the night, it's very silly, and it's very early in the night as well. Kingston and Suzuki's stare down in the very first match of the night. Here's what you gotta understand. For me, Eddie Kingston is my favorite wrestler in AEW. He is my all-time favorite. He gets me emotionally to that place where I'm not thinking, I am just feeling, and I just want him to get the win. And against Suzuki, I think out of everyone from Japan, the man who they have built up most in AEW as someone who is not to be taken lightly, someone who is a very big deal. Everyone in the room when he showed up, and maybe it's because it was early in the pay-per-view and everyone at my place just had energy and excitement, we're losing our minds with every single chop back and forth. The entire match was chaotic fun, but their stare down specifically, the minute that Jericho tagged Suzuki in, everyone in the room immediately went, "This is what we came here to see." And it was absolutely fantastic. Overall, Forbidden Door was an amazing show. I really enjoyed it. It blew my expectations out of the water, and I really hope that it does well enough to warrant a Forbidden Door 2, because there is so much to do still. We still haven't had Punk in here. We still haven't had Danielson in here. So many dream matches and one-on-one matches, and now we've been introduced to a lot of these people. You know, I think in a lot of ways, it is cool that this show still managed to act as an introduction. It didn't get an introduction of its own, unfortunately, a lot of the people here, but now I know who a Zack Sabre Jr. is. I know why he's dangerous. I know why he's such a big deal. I have seen Jay White and Okada in person, and I get what all the hype is about. I would love for them to do a Forbidden Door 2, and even if not, for them to do a lot more crossovers. Bring Okada over here at some point. Bring Jay White back here for a round of matches. I would absolutely love that. But yeah, what did you think of Forbidden Door? Did you love it? Did you feel like the lack of story and build kind of hurt your energy for it? Personally, it didn't really affect me that much. I ended up enjoying it anyway, because the skill on the card overcame that. But that's just me. I am GT Schwa. Thank you for watching. I will see you all in the next one.